Trump's staffer suddenly quits and immediately comes after him with a $25 million lawsuit for sick reason. Who's really behind this? You think you don't know? By Cat Stevens for Freedom Daily. Washington has been plagued with lawsuits and accusations lately. You can't seem to throw a rock in D.C. without hitting someone who's been accused of something terrible. Many of the accusations are turning out to be true, and this has shown the world just how badly the swamp really does need to be drained. Along with those perfectly valid accusations come the opportunists. It's always going to be a hazard of being famous that people might accuse you of something that you didn't do, and today's political climate has made those accusations more likely to stick. The reason being is that right now so many of the people we might have formerly thought well of have been proved to be dirty, rotten perverts, for lack of a better description. Much like fake news, fake accusations, whether they be about disgraceful sexual conduct, racial inequality, bullying, or any of the other plethora of PR nightmares that haunt those in the public eye, tend to stick like glue, especially with those who already wanted to have something against the person in question. Because of this, any impropriety on the part of the accusers should be dealt with as harshly as they wish to have their victim punished if the lies were believed. One of the most recent victims of these ridiculous attacks is none other than President Trump and his campaign staff. One former staffer is suing the presidential campaign, not for wrongful termination or any kind of improper attack or any of the normal things one might suspect, but because she didn't care for her work environment and because she was suspected of wrongdoing. TMZ reports that she wasn't fired, she quit, but she also claims that someone tried to steal her laptop. Again, they didn't do it, but apparently she was super uncomfortable, and that warrants a $25 million, warrants $25 million? You gotta be kidding. Donald Trump's campaign honchos destroyed the career of a woman by accusing her of undermining his efforts to get elected, according to a lawsuit filed against Trump's campaign. Jessica Denson says she was working for the Trump campaign last year and says one member of her staff made her life a living hell. In the docs, Denson says her direct boss started a rumor she was responsible for the October 2016 leak of Trump's tax returns, which she denies. She also says campaign staffers attempted to steal her personal laptop and cyber bullied her. Denson, who was a journalist before going to the campaign, says she reported the incidents to Deputy Campaign Manager David Bosey and Campaign COO Jeff DeWitt. According to the docs obtained by TMZ, DeWitt responded by sending an internal email accusing Denson of wasting campaign money. She was never fired, but says she was distressed by the fact they ignored her complaints. Denson's claiming sexual discrimination and defamation and suing the Trump campaign for $25 million. She's claiming sexual discrimination, but it's possible she should consider that it's less about her gender and more about her person. Maybe it's not because she's a woman, it's because she wasn't good at the job she was given. Sadly, in a place like the Trump campaign, we don't all get prizes just for showing up. They're more of a results type team. Denson seems determined to persist, but it's going to be difficult to get the general issue to stick, considering that the campaign manager, Kellyanne Conway, a woman, was in fact making history at the time as being the first woman to run a winning presidential campaign. Of course, Conway wasn't personally overseeing every single staffer on that campaign, but there would still likely be more bias against those without work ethic than against those of the female gender. As far as defamation goes, that's another tough battle. Unfortunately for Denson, checking to see if a person did something that they're horrified that you suspect them of, regardless of whether they did it, isn't defamation. Had these claims been posted in the New York Times and her future other jobs been jeopardized, she might get some traction. But when you work somewhere where you have access to sensitive information, when that information gets into the wrong hands, the chain of custody is always checked. In Denson's case, she shouldn't have taken the job if she had a problem being asked what she did with said information. In fact, the fact is that Denson was a journalist prior to her work on the Trump campaign. Probably did work against her, since the records that were stolen would have had a high value to anyone with her connections. The president's team is constantly looking for moles, since the game of politics is rarely a clean one, and whether or not they will ever find them, all is uncertain. What's more uncertain is that Denson is an opportunist looking for a payday, and even if she's not a mole, that certainly makes her a rat. But you see her posing here with this guy. Okay, so there you have it. Is that his daughter or something, or she's just I remember something about this picture, but I can't put my finger on it right now. But it could be related somewhat when you see this picture there with that newscaster whom I can't stand, whatever his name is. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below, and again, thank you so much for watching.